This is where I was told that I had a criminal trespass warning against me, and that it had been in effect for 2 weeks. As a result of this trespass warning in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia, I was denied the right to attend or to be on any properties owned by Lowndes County school system. After going to all areas of law enforcement, as well as the federal courts, nothing had been filed on me. Therefore, my rights have been violated. The Georgia Secretary of State, the Department of Justice should know about it. Moreover, a statement was made that the sheriff is looking into my background, that they are planning something against me, according to what was told to Minister John H. Robinson here in Valdosta, Georgia, by Wes Taylor, who is the school superintendent. The sheriff says that he would look into this situation and find out if there is a warrant or trespass law against me, or if it is still in effect. Wes Taylor said that he did not issue or have this trespass warning or warrant taken out on me or restriction. The Sheriff Department and the Criminal Investigation Department said that they think that Wes Taylor did it. Wes Taylor says that the Sheriff Department did it. And so we must ask a question in the state of Georgia. How many of our sons, how many of our daughters, how many of our fathers, sisters and brothers are now serving time in the Lowndes County Jail for this apparent protocol of processing charges against the general public? Just maybe this is why people say that South Georgia operate under their own set of laws, rules, codes, and ordinances. I have a document here from the Equipment Police Department. I was hit from the rear, and this particular lady was the one that hit me. I'm not going to call her name, but it says blank her name was not issued a citation, but is found at fault for following too close. Now, how many of you, how many people here in South Georgia, in Valdosta, in Lowndes County? Lowndes County was established on December 23rd, 1825. Now, this same county are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. 31 from 1994 to 2009. And from 2009 to 2013, nobody knows. The legal authority and the governor in the state of Georgia knows this. The United States Department of Justice knows about this. The civil rights organizations, the NAACP, the SCLC, G.B.R, Operation Push, and others are all aware that for whatever reason, some little flags ought to go up in somebody's mind to say something is wrong in Valdosta, in Lowndes County. The preachers are not talking. The teachers are not talking. The retired police officers are not talking. Even the mothers and fathers of these deceased inmates are not talking. So we must ask ourselves a question. What's wrong? And as we wait for the results of the second autopsy on the 17-year-old student at Lowndes County High School, Kendrick Johnson, we must ask ourselves, what is wrong here? And moreover, what's wrong in Macon, Georgia? I just got a call a few days ago. A mother, son died or was killed. She say murder in Macon, Georgia. And she believes that the conspiracy of that crime starts at the ground and go all the way up. Once again, the law enforcement, the politicians in the state of Georgia know about it. But nothing is being done. So I'm going to say again and again and again, what are we to do? What are the citizens to do when nobody will tell our story? We can't go to the newspaper because the newspapers don't care about us no more. We can't go to the TV stations because they are controlled by those apparently in the cliques and among the slicks. And so we are living in a world now that perhaps we need to talk to our young people. The young people tell me that the probation system here in South Georgia is in shambles. They believe that our jail is being ran like a prison, because you already know that. This is nothing new for y'all. Don't act like you don't know nothing about it. There's no need of law enforcement acting like this is something new. There's no need of the Justice Department acting like this is something new. There's no need of the Georgia Attorney General acting like this is something new. There's no need of the governor of the state of Georgia acting like this is something new. You already know about it. You got a copy of the Chorus of Fear video. You already know. People write letters up there to you, to all of you, and you don't do nothing. And so I'm going to say again, what are the citizens to do? Are we to convert back our young people? Are you all forcing the young people to resort to what they did in the 60s? Is that what you all want? Or are you trying to force them into joining the Crips and the Bloods and the Folk and other organizations that will hear their cries because our politicians and those in law enforcement, we don't have anybody to represent us anymore. We can't even get our story told. Once again, when my rights were violated, you would think that the Valdosta Daily Times, our only newspaper, you would think that they would be concerned about a citizen's constitutional rights being denied. You would think Channel 6 right over here Channel 27 over there, NBC down there, Fox up there, and other TV stations down there, you would think that somebody would want the general public to know what was going on. It is much like the meeting that took place over in Brooks County on July the 17th, I think it was, when the Board of Elections had a meeting, and many problems was highlighted in that meeting. DVDs were provided to the Secretary of State investigator, Glenn Austin. And yet, as of today, we haven't heard nothing from the Secretary of State from the state of Georgia, Brian P. Kemp, about that investigation. So the people in Brooks County are left deaf, dumb, and blind to the times and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. Moreover, there was valid election complaints sent in to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, and to this day, no answer has been forwarded to the people, the voters in Brooks County. And the newspaper, the Whitman Free Press, haven't told you nothing about it. You don't know nothing about it. But if you look on this YouTube, you will find all of it, because I care and because I am tired of all of this stuff that's going on here. And we don't have nobody to represent us. Why in the hell are we sending our sons and our daughters to fight these wars and the government won't help us? Now I put 20 years plus and took my children across this country with me, and in the foreign countries, in Germany, my children went with me, only to return home to be issued a criminal trespass warning for violations I don't know nothing about. In fact, I didn't even know about the trespassing warning. And yet you, Mr. Attorney General, you, Mr. Governor, you, Justice Department, Civil Rights Organization, if you all can't hear me down here, then how can you blame the father and mother of Kendrick Johnson of not trusting the law enforcement to do their job? And this didn't just start, you know. Back in 1918, we haven't found the people that murdered 15 to 25 blacks in Brooks County. We don't know who killed Earl Evans, shot him, and burned him up in a police car. We don't know that. We haven't found out who drowned the Woodens and the Densons in Quitman. We don't know who killed James Demps, the police officer, shot him twice over there at Washington Funeral Home. But we don't know nothing about that. We haven't got no justice. So how long must this go on? Now people are asking me, George, why are you doing what you're doing? My grandmother told me about this when I was a little boy. And for some reason, at an early age, around 14 years of age, I had a dream. I'm not going to tell you no more about that. I'm going to wait, and maybe my children will have to tell you about that dream. But I'm here to say to you that though we suffer and though we die, by the blood of the Lamb we shall overcome. Galatians 6 and 7 says, for God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. St. John 8:32 says, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. You can't be free until truth comes. You know, the reason I'm moving upstairs with this now is because when this happened to me, it gave me new energy to understand why our young black boys got their pants down, why a lot of small white business owners are disenfranchised, their business is destroyed. It's all about the economics. It's all about those who don't want for their neighbor the thing that they have for themselves and their own children. And so they rush off to church to get therapy for the wrong that they've done and continue to do. It makes them feel good to give a tithe or to give in the offering or give in the benevolence offering when you know you got people locked out, but your conscience don't bother you no more because you've done it so long. But there is something about the God I serve. The God that I serve, he's gonna visit you. He's gonna visit you to your second, third, and fourth generation of children. And when Galatians start hitting your children and your grandchildren, and they begin to fill the jails and the prisons because they don't have the money to get a lawyer, then what you gonna do? Then I know what you gonna do. You gonna go to your newspaper, but they ain't gonna publish it. You gonna go to your TV stations, they ain't gonna publish it. You gonna go to your elected officials, they ain't gonna ignore you. You gonna go to the governor, he ain't gonna pay you no attention. You gonna go to this Georgia Secretary of State, he ain't gonna stand you. He ain't gonna even respond to you. And so you're gonna be forced to turn to means that are not so legal. And then you can end up in jail, prison, or worse. Now you ask yourself, why do I do this? I do this because my heart is filled with love. When I think about the dream of Dr. King, I don't see it like you do. I see Dr. King as a real human being. And I think about all that that man did, even for the ones who murdered him. White women didn't know how much his effort would help them to get rights for the female. Dr. King loved in spite of himself. Jesus loved in spite of himself. And in the end, there was no room for him. Even the people who said that they loved him, in truth, they hated him. And so I know you hate me too. Anybody that bring you truth, you're gonna hate them. And ultimately, you're gonna kill them. But though we suffer, and though we die, by the blood of the Lamb, we shall overcome. If I feared death, I wouldn't do this. But I love my children. I love this nation. And I love the God that you placate, duplicate, and imitate. I can't play that game with my God. And so I got to tell you the truth. And don't be deceived. Somebody's coming after me. Listen, listen. Somebody is coming after me. And they're gonna blow a bigger trumpet than I'm blowing. The second chapter of Joel. Listen, the second chapter of Joel says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountains. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh and is nigh at hand. You've heard it, and I can't say no more. Now let's sit back and let's see what God gonna do. Once again, I'm in the streets of Valdosta, Georgia, talking like this because these words must be said before it's too late. Young people, this is your world.